everybody, it's Hilary from Mustard Seed. I hope you're all well and I hope you've all had a really good Christmas. Today's story is about the visit of the three wise men to Jesus just after he was born. The three wise men studied the stars and came from the east. They also knew something of the prophecies of Israel. Now, prophecies are words given by God to special people about things that will happen in the future. This is my nativity scene, and as you can see, we've got Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus and all the animals that were in the stable, and at the front are our three kings or wise men, Balthazar, Melchior and Caspar. Nowadays, if we're going to visit somebody, we might put their address or the town that they live in into a sat-nav on the car or into the Maps app on our telephones and follow that route. But in Jesus' time, they didn't have sat-nav or mobile phones, and they didn't really have a lot of maps. The maps that they did have were kept in special libraries and weren't very accurate. But the three wise men had studied the stars and knew that a new star would appear, and this star would lead them to Jesus. So when the star appeared, they set off following the star. Now, as they got close to the place where Jesus was to be born, I suppose like all of us, we have a bit of doubt and we think, I just need to know exactly where I'm going. So they went to the nearest large town, which was Jerusalem, and they went to see King Herod, because as wise men, they're also kings. And they went to ask him if he knew where a new king was going to be born. Today's reading is from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 2, verses 1 to 12. Jesus was born in the town of Bethlehem in Judea, during the time when Herod was king. Soon afterwards, some men who studied the stars came from the east to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the baby born to be the King of the Jews? We saw his star when it came up in the east, and we have come to worship him." When King Herod heard about this, he was very upset, and so was everyone else in Jerusalem. He called together all the chief priests and the teachers of the law and asked them, "Where will the Messiah be born?" "In the town of Bethlehem in Judah," they answered, "for this is what the prophet wrote. Bethlehem in the land of Judah, you are by no means the least of the leading cities of Judah. For from you will come a leader who will guide my people Israel." So Herod called the visitors from the east to a secret meeting and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem with these instructions: "Go and make a careful search for the child, and when you find him, let me know, so that I too may go and worship him." And so they left, and on their way they saw the same star that they had seen in the east. When they saw it, how happy they were, what joy was theirs. It went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. They went into the house, and when they saw the child with his mother Mary, they knelt down and worshipped him. They brought out their gifts of gold, frankincense and myrrh, and presented them to him. Then they returned to their own country by another road, since God had warned them in a dream not to go back to Herod. It says in the story that Herod was upset when the three wise men came and asked him where Jesus was to be born. And the main reason for this was that Herod wasn't the rightful king of Israel, and he was worried that a new king would overthrow him and become king of Israel. So when he told the wise men to go and find Jesus and then come back and tell him so he could worship Jesus, he wasn't telling the truth. The three wise men took gifts, special gifts, to Jesus, and these were gifts for a king. The gold, because only kings had gold. Gold was very rare in those days. And the myrrh was for using on people when they died, and the frankincense was an incense burnt by priests. To help us remember this story, I thought we'd make a crown for a king. So all you need to do is get a piece of A4 paper. I've got yellow, but if you have gold paper, you could always use gold paper. But if you haven't, you can use any colour. But all you do is you get an A4 piece of paper, fold it in half, and then you just fold it a bit like a concertina. So you fold it one way and then you fold it the other way, and you keep going until you got to the end. And you just make all these little folds. Now, if you haven't got yellow paper or gold paper, you could use any coloured paper, and then you could decorate it with sticky labels or colour it in, or if you've got some special jewels that you can stick on it that you can get from craft shop, that's lovely. So now I've got my piece of paper concertinaed. If you look at the end that's folded over and you cut it, and what you do is you just cut it in a bit of a triangle. Now this is quite hard, as you can see. Oops! And you might need to get a parent or a grown-up to help you do this. And then you cut it in half. And then what happens is you open it up, and yes, it does give you 2 bits of paper, but then all you have to do is you staple the bottom and you staple the top, and then you bring it round and you do the same on the other side. And there you are, you have a crown. Now, you might not have these papers, as I said before, but I made a crown here out of an old magazine cover. So you could do that. And the other thing that I thought was good was if you got a piece of paper and it wasn't the right colour, but you wanted to make a silver crown, you get your piece of paper and wrap it in a piece of tin foil, and then just do exactly as you did before, and there you are, you have a crown. So that's what I thought we could do, and I'd love to see your crowns. If you could send me pictures, that would be great. But until I see you again, I hope you all take care and you're all well, and I'll see you soon. Bye.